Okay, today we're looking at math lesson 8.4, solve two-step problems. My I can statement says I can write equations using the four operations with an unknown to solve a two-step problem. We've already been writing equations all year, right? And we've been doing some two-step problems, correct? And sometimes those are hard because we can't decide how to start, right? So hopefully today we'll get some clues that will help us. Sometimes we just need to slow down and really read the problem. Sometimes we have a tendency just to look at the numbers and not really read what they want. So let's read this, step it out. Mr. Cole paints airplanes. He has 6 gallons. He has 6 gallons of paint in a sprayer. You ever seen a paint sprayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go kind of like a car wash, only it's paint. He also has 7 equal-sized buckets of paint. The total amount of paint he has is 41 gallons. How much paint is in each bucket? So it says circle the numbers you know. So what do we know? He has 6 gallons of paint in a sprayer. He also has
7 equal-sized buckets of paint.
And his total amount of paint is
41 gallons.
And how then they want, okay, so we circled our numbers. Complete the bar model to show how many gallons of paint Mr. Cole uses. Use P for the unknown. He has 6 gallons of paint in a sprayer. He also has 7 equal buckets. So this is really not like yesterday when it kept giving us the total amount. Okay, so we circled the numbers we know. Okay, we know he has 6 gallons in his sprayer. And then we have this unknown of paint. And we know that he has 41 gallons altogether. Okay, how can you use an equation to find the amount of paint in all the buckets? So we know he had 41 to start with, and he put 6 in his sprayer. How are we going to figure out how much paint he has left? What was the whole?
41.
41. Okay. Are we going to add or subtract?
Subtract.
We're going to subtract. So it says use a subtraction equation to find the amount of paint in all the buckets to solve for P. So the total amount of paint is 41 gallons. And the amount in the sprayer is 6. And if we subtract those, we're going to find our unknown of P. So let's go over here and stack it up and subtract it. Can we subtract 1 and take away 6?
No.
We'll have to go over here and regroup from our chins, right?
Yeah.
That makes this 11 now. 11 minus 6 is
5.
And 3 minus nothing is
3.
So P equals
35.
And it's 35 what? What's our label?
Buckets.
No.
Gallons.
Gallons. Because it says paint. So we have 35 gallons. How can you use P to find the amount of paint that is in each bucket? How many buckets did he have sitting back there? 7. He also has 7 equal sized buckets. So how are we going to find the amount of paint in each of those buckets? What kind of equation are we going to have to do? Well, you could. What would we? Huh? What would a division? What would we multiply, or what would we divide, or
35 divided by 6.
how many buckets did he have? We know this is going to equal 7. So we have this unknown. So Catherine, yes, we could have written a multiplication sentence and had an unknown in it equals 35.
Wait, do you write that?
Right? Yeah, you could write these down there. Yes, you need to. So what times 7 is 35? I heard several of you say it. 5. So how much is in each of his 7 buckets that are sitting over there? 5 gallons of paint, right? Okay, we are so good that we already did this part, but we're going to go ahead and put it in here. It says, what number do you know? We know that they, sorry, that we have 35 and 7, right? Okay, so we're going to write 35 and 7 right here. That's what we know. Whoops. Goodness sake. 35 and 7. Okay? Because we figured out we had 35 gallons left when we had 41 minus 6. And in the problem, it told us there were 7. So it says, then it says 35 is the amount of paint in all the buckets and 7 is, now you need to move on over to the edge of the line. I just can't do it because of my text box. The number of buckets. Okay, if you're at home, stop your recording and hit that. All right, so we know that we had 35 gallons. We've already discussed this in our turn and talk. We know that we have 35 gallons, and we know that we had 7 buckets. And then they give us this bar model again. And P equals the gallons. How many gallons did we figure out P was on the other page? 35. And we're going to divide it among 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups. Which what did we figure out would be in each group? 5, right? Because 5 times 7 is 35. You can use your solution from step 1 in order to find out how much paint in each bucket. Okay, that means we found this 35. That was our solution. Everybody get their formula filled in? Now we're going to go to step 2. We've probably already done this. How can you use an equation to find the amount of paint in each bucket? Now use what kind of equation did we use? No. What kind did you use? A division. You could have done repeated subtraction, but division would be much faster. To find the amount of paint. Solve for G. Now they've named our new unknown G. So we had to find P, and now we're finding G. So all the paint in the bucket is 35. Our number of buckets is 7. That's 7 buckets. There we go. That's 7 buckets, right? And we decided that 35 divided by 7 was, and we need to get a label on this. What's going to be our label? 5
in each bucket.
gallons.
Oh.
And we could add 5 gallons of paint in each bucket, or we could just say, since it asks how much paint was in each bucket, we could just say 5 gallons. So you can just put 5 gallons.
Okay.
Why did I put gal? Now, it wants to know, how can we check to see if our answer is reasonable? Which operation can you use to check for the reasonableness of your answer? So we're going to use the inverse operation. What's the inverse operation of division? Multiplication. So I can multiply. What numbers am I going to multiply? 7. Okay. I can multiply. Okay, I can multiply. What numbers can I multiply? 7 and 5. What am I going to do after I multiply to find the total amount of paint, right? Okay, I'm going to make a new text box down here, so maybe. I'm going to run out of time. Okay. Paint in the buckets. So take that period away up here. Okay. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording while we're writing, and you at home can write. Now remember, if we go clear back up to our original problem, how much paint did they have to start with? 41, and we've been working with 35. But to check our whole problem and see if we're right, we're going to have to get back to that 41. So, once I do that, I'm going to have what? If I multiply 7, if I multiply 7 and 5, what am I going to have? 35. So then, do you remember how much paint was in the sprayer? 6. So then I can add, remember when we go back, we took it away, right? We subtracted. So now we're going to add the 6 gallons to the 35 then I can, oh my gosh, just a minute. Just relax. Let me stop the recording. Okay, if you're watching the video, then you need to go ahead and say, then I can add 6 to 35 to find the 41 original gallons, the total amount of paint in the buckets and sprayer, and we're back to our original numbers.